my contribution to this beautiful series of reflection will consist in a certain number of ideas in a rather Latourian tone and mode. Latourian from the point of view that he was a man who gave us new impulses to rethink democracy, to rethink the reality of the plurality of parliamentary systems, and to give us the technical detail which is required in order to rethink the relationship between science and democracy. First of all, I must remind you that the concept of reality is a modernism that does not appear before the 17th or 18th century, when the passion for reality as such begins to take its grip over modern societies. Modern societies are pervaded by a passion for realism, whereas classical societies, feudal societies, and the Athenian democracy were pervaded by a deep feeling that reality is nothing that can be grasped by the ordinary sense of what is real, what is perceptible, but has to be looked for behind the appearances. So the concept of reality, according to the Greek philosophy, is concentrated in the concept of ousia, which is rendered in Latin by the word essence. An essence is something that lies behind the appearance and consists of a reality of so-called primary qualities. This is why the world of art had to disappear from the world of reality in ancient times, because the art is not really capable to participate in the pure geometrical forms that constitute, according to Plato, the dimension of reality. It is only in modern art that this kind of Platonic reality reconnects its connection with the sensible world. And that is why we owe that much to the phenomenon of art, because it is the field of the reconciliation between the ideal and the the concept of reality in the ancient world is always connected with the hypothesis of a counterintuitive reality. That means you have to drop your first impressions. You have to sacrifice your prejudice. You have to withdraw from perception and to try to enter into the field of pure thinking, which is the only possibility to step into the world of the real thing. So it's always counterintuitive, and counterintuitions that leads to the field of reality. So my contribution today will be not only in a Latourian but also in an anti-Platonic tone. And that is why I'm here as the ambassador of three hybrid entities who have recently entered our reality space without ever asking permission, neither us nor our ancestors. These entities have entered our reality only in the last decades, and they are among us, and they reshape our concept of what we call reality. There are especially three of these hybrid entities that I will characterize in short terms here. The first one is located in Switzerland, especially in Geneva. I'm talking about the famous Centre Européen Recherche Nucléaire, better known as its acronym CERN. All of you will know that they are about to start a really revolutionary experiment, a Big Bang experiment. They have created, in the course of the last years, the biggest particle accelerator in the world, 100 meters below the surface of Geneva. It is a hidden world, it's a hermetic world. Nobody knows really what happens down there. What we know is that the last spare magnets have been replaced recently after the failure of the first experiment. What they will do there is nothing less than a micro-dimensional repetition of the Big Bang. And if this Big Bang happens, we all will share the consequences of this effect. If it is a success, we will know definitively how this universe was created, or created itself, from a sequence of events that had to follow from this original event that we call more or less, luckily or unluckily, the Big Bang. So this could mean that it would lead the modern physics to a practical end. That would, if we refute the modern ideology of infinite research, could mean that within a couple of decades, the system of modern physics would be established more or less once and for all. And this would have enormous consequences for everything else, because our reality is grounded in the ideology of infinitism, that everything can go indefinitely on and on and on. And that is also the reason for modern relativism. The feeling of floating and relativity that pervades everything is deeply connected with the idea of the indefinite openness of natural research. Should that ever stop, it would have enormous consequences also for the moral world. Because also moral relativism and cultural relativism would by and by vanish and be replaced by a return to a more or less dogmatic concept of human nature and of cosmic and terrestrial reality. This is the best case scenario. We repeat the Big Bang in a small. We find the God's particle that has been postulated by some of the modern physics, and we are still looking for that. The worst case would be that as a side effect of the Big Bang, we create a tiny black hole. This would not be such a mess if the black hole would fall into parts as soon as it has arisen. Should it ever stabilize itself, it would really create a problem. Because it would work as a real black hole. And a black hole on Earth is not foreseen by creation. We could create it eventually. The likeliness is not very big. The leaders of the experiment say it is almost nothing. But people like that have to talk like that. But a growing movement of people who are seriously preoccupied by this tiny possibility that a real black hole might arise from this experiment. And unfortunately, it would not devour Switzerland first, but it would sink down from the Large Hadron Collider. That's the technical name of this big installation in Geneva. It would sink down